Hello and welcome. My name is Errity Green and this is Wise Woman Television. And today I am bringing you a pick a card reading on the gold in your heartbreak, or the gold in your last heartbreak, the loss of a connection, the loss of a love or relationship, however you define it. So we will be talking about what was gained, the lessons learned, the mastery as a result of this heartbreak. So I encourage you to stick around, as well as like and subscribe. Liking ensures other people see this video, and subscribing ensures your own commitment to yourself. Make sure you press the bell. That way it notifies you every single time a new reading is here. So I will first provide the 3 card piles for you. And we will begin. So card pile 1. So what's initially coming up here? We're talking about the gold in your last heartbreak. Is it looks like or appears that you've been on a growth journey for a little while. You've been on a healing journey for a little while. You might have been on a conscious path or a conscious growth path for some time, although this is referring to a specific episode or most recent season of growth and healing. And this most recent romance or heartbreak was supporting you to or it's catalyzing the last tail end finale, so to speak, of your healing journey. So this connection, this romance, the loss of this is actually supporting you to catalyze like the final piece, the final leg of the most recent healing journey for you, because this is something that is a little bit new for you, even a little bit delicate, a little bit fragile. It's like learning to walk on your 2 feet. Just like a toddler who is at first a little wobbly and a little unsure and is gathering their footing. It's like that's where you were, and then this relationship came through and maybe swept you off your feet, and or it was something that just totally kind of sideswiped you, or just kind of came out of nowhere. And again, it was like you were already wobbly as it is, and so this kind of threw you for a loop, or kind of threw you off course. Whether or not you felt off course or out of alignment, there's not a huge energy here of being out of alignment. Again, this has to do with your own mastery. This loss was actually supporting you to step into your own mastery. And again, you were already at the final leg and the final piece of this healing journey, this integration journey anyway. And then this came through in order to support you to find your own 2 feet, to really find solid ground with yourself, and to really trust yourself as your own master. Because the next message here is all about learning to trust yourself, learning to trust with the information that is given to you, learning to trust the information that you know is true, just getting to know yourself and how you receive and perceive energies and signs and your own intuition. And so this is all about getting to know yourself. There's a lot of gold here, so I'll even show you some of the gold that's in this reading. And it's funny, obviously, because the name of the reading is gold, the gold in your heartbreak. So you're definitely getting a lot here. So there is something here about, again, connecting to your own spiritual center, connecting to your own spiritual truth, your own spiritual source, really connecting with yourself as your own master, and trusting what comes through for you, like the information that comes through for you, letting that stand as truth. And really recognizing yourself as a powerful master and creator. Because look, you're looking at 2 really powerful cards here. Now these are clarifier cards, but it gives you a clue in as to how powerful your greater potentials really are, your true self really is, and you're learning to step into and embody that power, and embody it in a greater, stronger, more disciplined way. Like you're learning to lock it in, okay? So it's not so much wobbly feet anymore, but you can stand on the 2 feet, and then soon you'll be able to walk, right? Again, with that toddler learning to walk analogy. And so you were on the final leg of this healing journey. This came through, kind of knocked you off your feet, and it was supporting you to kind of step into your own mastery, or your own master. Really also understanding too your power and potential, and being able to dictate your own life, create your own experience, create your own reality, and really trusting your ability, that you get to decide how things go. You get to decide who you engage with. You get to decide if this person is the ideal or not. Clearly, if you're watching this, you're watching because there was some heartbreak there. So there was a loss, and that is to be acknowledged because, clearly there was something there that you enjoyed or appreciated. Otherwise, you'd be on this video talking about heartache, right? So I do recognize that. And even so, for whatever reason this relationship ended, there is plenty of gold here, and a lot of it has to do with your own mastery. Okay, so the next card is learning to kind of stand your ground no matter what. Learning to stand in your own truth, power, knowingness, your own resolve, your own values, your own feelings and sensations. You are worth that. You are worth standing proudly and strongly and courageously for whatever it is that you feel, for whatever it is that your intuition, your inspirations, whatever it is that you're gaining, and we talked about that with this card, whatever it is that you're connecting with, trusting that and knowing that that is the thing to defend. That is the thing to stand by. Standing by, on, and for yourself, right? So like you're learning to stand up for yourself. And not that you had to defend yourself in this relationship, no, but this is saying, hey, again, you were wobbly and you're learning to stand on your own 2 feet and stand up and for yourself and letting your own expertise or your own awareness or your own knowing or intuition, be the final answer, letting it be enough for you, because we can go seeking, well, why and how and what if, and, ask all these questions. And this is saying, letting your own feelings, letting your own intuition, letting even your own mastery and what it is that you want to create, letting that be enough in terms of the reason as to the reason you do anything or not do anything. Like it's enough because you said so, right? It's enough because you decided it wasn't whatever it was. Like, does that make sense? Because I feel like as I'm saying, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. But what I mean is, like, even if you have no outside validation, even if you have no external answer, even if you have nothing to hold on to and affirm what you believe is true or what you have felt to be true or whatever, your self-evident experience alone is enough to stand by, to lock in, and to trust. Because again, you're being shown here, I'm going to even pull a clarifier card for this one, but you're being shown here that your feelings, again, are enough. Ooh, okay. So, your feelings are enough and your intuition is enough. And if something was off about this connection, or maybe it wasn't about this connection at all, could have been about anything, but this was one way, one application, one example of you learning to stand on your own 2 feet and trust yourself and trust your own intuition. It's saying you do know and you do feel, again, trust that. Like, this is the constant message, the theme of pile 1. And it's saying here too, there is something here about connecting to your inner child. So if you're not understanding the gold that is in this heartbreak or the loss of this connection, connect more deeply, connect with your inner child, ask them what their opinion is, whatever it is that they have gained, whatever it is that they have learned, or ask them, how they feel. Keep it open-ended, right? How do you feel? How did you feel when you were in this connection? How did you feel when you're outside of this connection? And letting your inner child be a gauge for how you navigate your everyday life, okay? And what's interesting is our inner children are oftentimes unintegrated aspects of ourselves. Not always, but they're the parts of us that maybe weren't heard or given enough expression. As children, of course, we usually didn't have the final say or hold any authority or whatever. So we tend to have pain and unspoken truths and things like that entangled in our inner child, and as well as old belief systems, inherited generational patterns. There's a lot there, as well as play and childlike innocence and things like that. So it's not like a one package deal. There's a lot of things that are within our inner child, and it's saying, like, learning to navigate your life based on the inner child, because a part of your work pile 1, it's becoming clear now with these final few cards, which is great. This energy's coming through and giving us some deeper, solid clarity and roots to stand on, is learning how important your inner child is to navigating your life path. And that part of your path is learning to parent yourself better, because for whatever reason your parents it sounds like based on what we've read here, what you're stepping into, that perhaps they didn't always nurture you or parent you or properly support you in all the ways that you needed or all the ways that you deserved or desired. And so you're learning to parent yourself. And part of that reparenting process is, of course, trusting yourself, standing on your own 2 feet, recognizing that you get to be your own authority, recognizing that that is enough, that you don't need external validation, and that inner child can be a great gauge for you and moral compass as to what's right for you and what's not right for you. So first of all, even acknowledging the inner child within, first of all, is a huge piece. Just acknowledging that it's there, acknowledging the belief systems that are there, acknowledging the missed out opportunities or the things that went unspoken or whatever. That alone is huge, deep healing kind of shadow work, right? However, there's even more here about saying, your inner child can tell you where your safe places are. Your inner child can tell you what your deepest needs are, your deepest cravings and desires, your deepest yearnings, your biggest dreams. Your inner child has a lot of information for you, and it looks like pile 1, the reason this relationship came into your life and the gold and the heartbreak is a reconnection and reunion with your inner child, okay? So you're reconnecting with your inner child, and you're able to create a relationship now with that inner child. So something in this person as a reflection or brought something up, it was meant to create this bridge between you and your inner child so you have a relationship so that it can have expression, so that it can share its desires and its deepest fears and longings, and there is a safe place to for all of that to happen, to be heard, for this child to be held. And I know that's deep for some people, the inner child sort of psychology stuff, but whatever that means to you, let it land and let it resonate in that way. However, there is something inside of you that now has a greater opportunity to be known, to be revealed, to be understood, and it's actually going to help you in your manifestations because it's going to give you the clarity that you need on pretty much everything, including what you want, the kind of relationship you want and don't want, the kind of future that you want and don't want, the kind of career that you want and don't want, what you would be best at, what you would be most successful at. Your inner child has a lot of gold here for you that wants to be revealed. And now you've been given this opportunity to bridge that connection and connect. And somehow, some way, whether directly or indirectly, this connection set you up with a new relationship with your inner child. So that way you could now gather these kernels of wisdom and keep this dialogue open and allow them to help guide you and support you on your life path, because they have a lot to say, a lot to share. They have a lot to offer, and they are going to connect a lot of dots that previously went unconnected, okay? And again, the final card is pointing to all of this. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming up as a result, or already is and is underway. And again, this might be pain from the inner child, unacknowledged pain, unexpressed pain. These might be unexpressed and unspoken truths, old belief systems, like limiting patterns or self-imposed limits, desires, yearnings, cravings, needs, unmet needs. So there's going to be some things that are coming up for you as a result of this lost heartbreak. So making sure you're creating space for this stuff to come up, be heard, be seen, be recognized, and be honored. That way it can fully guide you into this greater change that will be taking place. Now there's a great alchemy that's going to be happening and churning kind of thing that's going to be happening. That is supporting you sort of alchemically to step into all that you are, all that you desire, all that you came here for. And that's being made possible now because your actions and your truth and your journey in your life are now being guided by, or at least not maybe even fully led, but just you're in communion with your inner child, so it has a say as to where your life goes. And this was the missing piece for many of you, is if you ever felt a lack of clarity or uncertainty about your path, about what you want to do, about what will bring you most success and all those things, right? Or whether this person was right for you or not, or whatever. All those questions that we ask ourselves, your certainty, your clarity, your conviction is going to come from your renewed connection with your inner child, who has a lot to say. So thank you, Pile 1. This is your reading. Thank you for watching. I encourage you to like and subscribe, as well as share your story down in the comments below. And also, I want to let you know I offer both personal readings as well as coaching sessions to support you on your life path and to bring these readings to life. So until next time, thank you, Pile 1. Okay, Pile 2, the gold in your heartbreak. So this could be a recent heartbreak, a heartache from the past that you're still curious about. And the gold in your heartbreak, this particular heartbreak, is it gave you some clarity as to what you truly want in your life, okay? And it gave you the opportunity to sort of be born anew, to do something different, to start a new chapter, to start anew, It gave you the opportunity for a new beginning that is in greater alignment with what you truly, deeply want. So there was something about this connection, this romance, this person, whatever, that was not in full alignment with what you truly wanted, and you were able to see that, you were able to notice that, you became aware of it, and you gained clarity on what it is that you actually truly want. That doesn't mean, of course, that there wasn't heartbreak. You wouldn't be on here if there wasn't heartbreak, right? Because this is the gold in your heartbreak, like what you're learning from it, or what mastery comes as a result, and it is clarity on what it is that you do want, okay? Because in a lot of ways, this relationship seemed like the good thing, the one thing, the true thing. You know, there's a lot of good in this relationship, so it can be a little bit confusing for the pile twos as to like, why couldn't this work? Or why did it happen that way? Or what's the greater purpose then? Because everything seemed fine, or everything was really good, and maybe not everything was great, but it really looked good at first glance, like, you know, judging a book by its cover, right? Or on paper, you know, kind of everything lined up. But it's saying here that not everything is as it seems, and you are having to settle in a lot of ways. By choosing this person or this relationship, if you had stuck around, or if it had lasted, it would have compromised your overall vision and dream, your greater vision for your life and for your reality. It would have held you back. You know, you have greater potentials in store and greater opportunities in store for something that is like meaningful for you, lights you up, and this would have held you back. You know, you would essentially been settling as a result of staying with this person. You would have had to make a lot of compromises on what it is that you want in order to be with this person. And our souls won't have that, right? I mean, oftentimes we can go against, you know, the guidance of our souls, but obviously if you're watching this channel, you are in tune and obviously well connected with your soul, your own spiritual guidance. So at some level you do value what your soul has to say, and our soul would have us self-actualize, right? It would have us be self-expressed in all the ways possible. And in whatever ways you would have been held back as a result of this relationship, had it continued or sustained, you know, you wouldn't have been able to fully grow into all that you are capable of, or all that you're meant for, even related to your purpose and mission on this planet. Any kind of sacred agreements or contracts that you had made, or intentions you had set for your incarnation, it would have been much more difficult, if not impossible, to bring these things to life. And again, I am feeling a little bit sense of your purpose too, your purpose path. This isn't going to be for everyone, but I'm even getting goosebumps on the right side of my head. So I know for some of you this will be the case, but it was going to hold you back in some way in your greater purpose work. So first of all, trusting your decisions, trusting yourself, trusting the vision that you have for your life, and like letting that be the final answer. Like, we can have these visions and dreams for ourselves, right? And it's like, we know these are true for us. They're not something we have to argue. Like, we know it, right? But here's what happens. Someone comes into our lives, or something comes up to us, and we're like, oh, well, maybe, and sure, and I wonder if they fit, and let me see, where would they fit? And is this, you know, kind of fitting like a square in a circle peg, or vice versa, whatever that saying is, where it's like you're trying to fit it in, but it doesn't quite fit in, and you're like, but it could work, maybe so, right? And it's saying, like, trust your bigger vision. Like, if that person does not fit, or if there's any inkling, or even like lingering awareness or question or curiosity if that person fits, then it probably isn't right and doesn't fit with your vision. Like, trusting the vision, knowing that that's enough, and just, you know, if you struggle in the future with having clarity around a partner, connection, romance, whatever, ask yourself, hey, is this person in full 100% alignment, or is it possible they are in 100% alignment with my greater vision? You will know immediately. If there's any if, ands, maybe, so, if there's any of that stuff, no, the person doesn't fit. Because this has something to do, again, with your greater vision as well as your purpose work on this planet. Now, this isn't a reading on purpose path or purpose work or sacred mission or any of that. I do have videos on this channel around your spiritual destiny and your purpose and so on and so forth. I encourage you to check those out if it lands for you, but we won't be diving into what that means or looks like for all of you. However, it's saying you wouldn't be able to like make the impact that you came here to make, do the things, be the things, have experience the things that you said you were going to, if you had remained in this partnership with this person. So trusting your bigger vision, trusting it, and letting that be enough for you. Like, you know, letting that, you know, who you are on your own, all that you are comprised of, like letting that complete you, and not feeling like the need that anything else has to complete you. And I think a lot of you are already there in terms of wholeness or completeness and a lack of codependence. That's great, but it felt important to mention that. Also, there was something earlier that came up around resistance, and I do wonder what that was. It was something around resistance to getting into a relationship and recognizing the difference between that, like just natural fear and resistance, and your own intuition that says no. Because when I'm saying, like, is this person in full 100% alignment with your greater vision, a lot of people are going to have that question. They're going to say, okay, well, how do I know if it's not my own shit, right? My own projections, my own fears, my own resistance to all the great things that I would love in my life, like self-sabotage, or if this is like real, genuine, 100% intuition. And my answer is this. I do believe, and even this is what's coming through, is like we always know. We don't always want to know that we know or believe that we know or have to like acknowledge that, because that means we actually have to follow through with it. But it's like we always know. At the deepest level, we know. Is it landing or is it not landing? Is it resonating? Is it not resonating? Is it 100% fit or is it not? You know, are these just my nerves, or is there a deeper no happening here from my soul? All right. And there's no way for me to answer that question for you, but the guidance is, you know, so just follow it. Because there is something here too about that the right person does come at the right time, and you can trust that. So for pile 2 here, again, you know, there is this yearning, you know, this deeper desire for a relationship, coming together with someone, coming together in union and partnership, sharing a home and family. And it's saying, like, trust that that comes, trust that it's a part of the path. There may have been a lot of time that has passed and you're like, I don't even know if that's true for me anymore, you know, it's in this many years, this many months or whatever, but it's saying trust yourself. And I do feel like for my pile 2s, there's something about stepping into your purpose and your sacred mission things that's actually going to help you manifest and bring / attract this partner for you, this companion, this next romance or love connection for you, the greater you step into your purpose work, okay? So I don't know what that is for you. Again, we're not doing a reading on that. Please check out the other videos. However, there's something here about stepping into that, and it either connects you directly with that life partner, with that greater companion, with that romance, with the romance that's actually more aligned for you and a greater fit. There's something that you meet them directly through your purpose work, or that it's like it ends up being a collaboration or a colleague or someone shows up in your inbox, something like that. Or it is a situation where once you are in your manifested purpose work, you've come to that place of completeness, of wholeness, like you've done what you came here for. So you're not going to get like distracted or detoured by anyone or anything. So that's when this person will arrive. Because it's saying, again, you want this. Pile 2, you want this so badly. And I'm not saying it doesn't feel like a desperate need. It just feels like this beautiful dream, this really beautiful, deep yearning and desire. And it's saying that, you know, you get 2 cards that are very similar here. Look. These are clarifier cards. You can see that the person's holding on this side and they've let go on this side. And so for you, it's like, you know, all the things that your mind has to say, it's doubts, it's questions, it's lingering curiosity, it's of when and how and what, and I'm done, and I want this to be over, and I just want to be with someone, all the things. It's saying trust the path, keep moving, keep manifesting on the path of your greater destiny, your dream, your purpose path, whatever that is for you when I'm saying that. Because again, this came up as a relevant theme for pile 2s. And you know, the more you can kind of clear out this mental chatter, dialogue, kind of mental garbage, and not that you have to like fight it, because that'll just create more resistance and then make it more of a thing or an issue, but it's just like that letting go piece and just saying, okay, this is the way it is, and now what? This is the way it is, helping yourself gain some acceptance around it, and then boom, that's when the partnership comes. And it does have to do with stepping more into your greater destiny, your path. As you advance, you're able to attract this partner into your life effortlessly. And it happens because it's inevitable and it's a part of your destiny. So thank you, pile 2. I am so glad that you watched. If this resonated for you, I encourage you to like and subscribe or share your story in the comments. I also want to let you know I offer both personal readings as well as coaching sessions to support you on your path and or to bring this reading to life. So thank you, pile 2. Until next time. All right, pile 3. All right, so this is the gold in your heartbreak. So lessons learned, wisdom gained, how you've come into greater mastery. What was the gold in this last heartbreak, romance, whatever, partnership, love, connection. Again, this could have been years and years ago, and you're like, I just want to know what was the purpose of that relationship, or it could have been your most recent. Either way, it doesn't matter. So in some way, by letting go of this person, pile 3, you were able to step into your truer, greater legacy. By letting this person go, by letting this relationship go, or it being forced upon you through circumstances outside of your control, you were able to step onto a path that was more authentic and true for you. In some way, similar to pile 2, but I haven't gathered the full reading yet because I don't do the reading until we're live. But pile 2 is similar in that it had something to do with their greater destiny and the more appropriate life path or alignment for them. And for you guys, it's very much the same. You have a greater legacy in store. It supported you to get on track with your truer life path and what you came here to do, to accomplish, to experience, to have. And by letting this person go, or by that relationship moving on, you were able to step into what it is that you are truly meant for. So there was something here too about, because I just pulled a clarifier card to see, how is it helping you step into your greater legacy. There's something here about greater self-responsibility and creatorship, kind of becoming the cause of the creator of your own reality. Well, obviously more will get clear as we move through the reading, so let's see how that lands here. So there was an inspiration, there was something that came through as a result of the loss of this relationship. Now, you may or may not realize that, because if you're on this card reading, you're obviously asking the question, which means you either don't know what the gold in the heartbreak was, you want clarity or additional clarity, or you want validation, all right? So those are the reasons you probably are watching. I feel like many of you already know, and this will just affirm that for you, but something happened soon after or right after. I even feel a lot of emotion. So this has to be relevant and emotionally relevant for a lot of you. Something happened as a result of the loss of this relationship that came through soon after. I would say even within 3 months, but it could have been, 6 months, a year, but it feels like within 3 months for a lot of you, like soon after the loss of this relationship, that sort of blew things wide open. And you might not even recognize that, because what I am getting is that for some people, they might have even had an additional loss, a loss of a parent, loss of a loved one. I'm getting some tingles in my legs. This feels very relevant for some of you. This obviously is not going to be for all of you. Whatever came for you the 3 months-ish after the loss of this relationship, or even the year after, I'm just going based on the primary energies here. However it lands, let it land for you. Something came through, and for some of you, it was the loss of another loved one, and in some ways this blew you wide open, and it kind of created a whole new clearing for your life to kind of grow into and be fertilized by, if that makes sense. So it was like, you came alive in a brand new way that wouldn't have been possible if it weren't for these particular catalysts. And like I said, not everyone lost someone. Some of you, it was an inspiration or an opportunity came up, or a new career path, or someone else entered your life. A new relationship for some of you entered your life. I'm actually seeing, which I very rarely get visions, but someone met someone at work, and had you been with the previous person, you would not have connected with that person in your workplace, right? You would have, but it would have been amicable. It wouldn't have been a greater, romantic relationship. So because of the loss of the previous relationship, you were able to meet this person at the workplace. Again, not going to be for everybody, but something came through, a new career path, a job opportunity, a new person in the periphery, even the loss of other loved ones, and like the loss of this love connection was the first of many losses. But what it did is it kind of cleared out your life, and you ended up having this field, this whole kind of field of dreams, of potential dreams, right? It cleared a lot of space, and is deeply heartbreaking and devastating and beyond, as losses are, especially the loss of lives. What it was able to do is clear out essentially the field of your life, and you had a whole, I'm seeing a prairie, a clearing of just possibilities for you, where a new self, a new identity, a new life could emerge. And you had to have great courage. For those of you that lost some loved ones, you had to have some great courage to really allow a lot of this to come to fruition, because you had to let a lot of that old energy go, and not hold on for dear life to the grief there for the losses that you experienced, in order to be able to move on. So the next card here is that, so some of you have already moved on from the heartbreak of this loss. I feel like some of you, though, are still holding on to this lost love connection and or the series of losses after. So for some of you, you're still holding on. For some of you too, again, you've already lost that. And so it was you know, you have that energy there of, you know, the loss of a potential, you know, the loss of a dream, and remembering that part of your difficulty or challenge with the loss of this connection, this love connection, was the loss of a dream, the loss of the fantasy, the loss of the shared vision, the loss of the vision. You know, I want you to know, and the message here and the guidance that is being offered, you did not lose the dream. You did not lose the destiny. You did not lose the vision. You might have lost that person, okay? And there's no way to make that feel any better. Like, there's nothing I can say to console you in that regard. But what I can offer is that your vision is still very much possible, real, available, and ready to claim. And I actually feel some of you have already claimed that, and that was the gold. Because again, some of you met someone after, some of you encountered a new opportunity or inspiration or something after that opened your life wide up to a lot more abundance and just, you know, gold and vibrance and radiance. Your life became wide open after either that loss of that love connection or a series of love connections. And so, you know, you were able to step into your greater dream and destiny, okay? The other part of this for the, you know, remaining people in pile 3 is you're still holding on to this grief. I think it's for those of you who had this series of losses and recognizing that you can still dream, like giving yourself permission to dream, giving yourself permission to create the dream with new people, with, you know, new players in the game and players in the play. It might not be the same people, but they're wearing a similar hat. You can give yourself permission to try again, okay? Let me pull a clarifier card on this next one, because some of you have given up, right? Some of you have given up, and I know there is a small minority who experienced the dream, they experienced the clearing, the awakening happened. You already know your goal, right? Please do finish the reading, because I imagine it still is relevant for you, and then, you know, leave the rest, take what lands, leave the rest. But, you know, it feels like the greater majority of you, this is connecting to the people who held on to the grief, who felt like they lost the dream, so you gave up. You gave up on your life. After that love connection and maybe even series of losses thereafter, you gave up. You're being asked to look at, again, that deeper vision, that deeper vision for your life from your soul, what you know you came here for, what you're meant for, you know, giving yourself permission to experience happiness, to experience fulfillment, to go after what it is that you know is meant for you. Because you and I both know, and it's even pointing to here, you did develop something changed inside of you as a result of these losses. And for you, you're probably thinking like, I mean, what? I'm just, you know, in greater grief or sadness or whatever, and I have all these old energies. As you work on clearing out those old energies and completing and resolving this grief for yourself and essentially moving on, it doesn't mean you forget. It just it's part of that acceptance of this happened. Now what? You are able to realize that there is a lot of changes. There are a lot of changes rather that you have experienced, and those will become clear. Those gifts, the gold in your heartache and your heartbreak, will be revealed as you clear out that old energy. Okay, as you actually let go and not holding on for dear life to these old, you know, the old love connection, or even the curiosity and wonderment and like why and what and this and that, and it seems so right and all these things, right? You're going to discover you developed a lot of gifts and step into your potential in greater ways. There's some mastery, some wisdom, some things that were gleaned and have been gained that you may not even be aware of because it's been covered and buried by a lot of this grief, okay? And that becomes clear for you, because what happens is when you let go of this stuff that you've been harboring, okay? See that? So behind the false mask or the sadness or the